friends, it's Miss Tracy from Curious University, and today is all about ducks. Not the cartoon kind that make us laugh or the rubber kind that make bath times fun. No, we're going to be learning some really cool facts about real ducks. Like, did you know that a duck can turn its head completely around to preen? Which just means removing the dust and the dirt and the icky parasites from its feathers. Now, when a duck preens, it activates a gland that is right here near the tail feathers. And when the gland is activated, it produces an oily substance. Then the duck uses its beak to spread that oily substance to all of its feathers. And do you know why it's important for the duck to spread the oily substance to all of its feathers? Well, it's because that oily substance coats and protects the feathers and acts like an insulation that makes the duck almost completely waterproof, which in turn helps the duck to stay warm even in cold weather. And that is a fact. In today's Curiosity Break, we're going to do an experiment that's going to demonstrate how the oil from preening will help to keep the feathers closest to the duck's body dry. Now, what we need is, first, a paper bag and some scissors, which I have used to cut out 2 feathers. We also need some oil, and I've poured a bit in this cup. We're going to need some water, and either eyedropper or a straw, and we're also going to be using a paintbrush. Now, I also have a tray out here, but like a vinyl mat would be fine, anything that would keep the surface from getting too wet, because we are going to be working with water. Now, before we get started, I want to move the camera so that you'll be able to see the experiment a bit better. I'll be right back. Okay, now we can see both of the feathers that I cut out. And, you know, they're not perfect. They don't really look like duck feathers. So if yours don't turn out to be perfect, don't worry about it. We can still do the experiment. Now we need to pretend that this feather is from a duck who has preened, and this feather is from a duck that did not preen. The duck that preened, of course, spread the oily substance from the gland near its tail feathers, spread that oily substance all over its feathers. And we are spreading vegetable oil. It's going to act like that oily substance that the duck produces. All right. So we're going to say this is a feather that's been preened, this is a feather that's not been preened. Now let's see what happens when we add water. So as you can probably see, the water is soaking through the paper sack and is actually going all the way through to the other side. Can you see that water? Yeah, see, it's coming all the way through. There's no protection there. So if a duck has not preened, all of this water is going to make its body wet, okay? Now, let's see what happens when we add some water to the feather that has been preened. Oh, look at that. Now, the first thing I notice is that the water is bubbling up. It's not soaking through. It's bubbling up, and it's even running right off the feather. So you can see that none of the water is getting past the protection of that oily substance. You can probably see that the paper bag feather that was covered in oil was able to shed the water easily. That's because oil and water don't what? Yeah, they don't mix. So when a bird is able to get a good covering of its oily substance, it's able to stay dry in the water. It's kind of like when we wear our raincoats, we're able to stay dry outside because our raincoats do not absorb water, just like this feather didn't absorb water. Thank you so much for being here today. I have had so much fun, and I hope that you will try out this experiment at your house too. Well, I hate to say it, but it's time to say goodbye. But don't forget to join us next Thursday for a brand new Curiosity Break. And you know what it's going to be called? Hands Can! It's going to be a lot of fun. Until then, stay curious.